Do you remember Hamish? He recently bought a 3D printer, but unfortunately for him, it broke. Almost immediately. I think we should try and fix it and get Hamish back to printing. After my broken 3D printer series, I'm sure this will be somewhat easier. So there are two main issues with this printer, one being the layer skipping on the y-axis.
Oh, it's the y-axis.
And the other being the inability to probe the bed.
Leveling failed. Okay, never mind.
Which is a slight issue considering this printer doesn't really have manual bed leveling. I did add springs and that worked for a bit, but now it's completely broken. So let's get to work. Okay, I'm going to try and do a home and then I'm going to try level it. Fingers crossed. Or something's not triggering. Well, this is funny. This one is too big. This one is too small. The one I need isn't there. I do have this though. So this thing needs uninstalling and moving. Oh, never mind. No, even this isn't the right size. Well, that's just annoying. Okay, maybe this will work. Huh. Okay, well that's still connected. Nice and tight. Cool. Let's do another homing test. Okay, Z-axis going up. X-axis. Okay. Oh, it's the Y-axis. So I get stuck. But I can't. Fixing a broken 3D printer takes a lot of time and energy. I'm quite familiar with that fact. Save that time and energy and check out PCBWay. They're currently hosting their Black Friday sales with amazing discounts, and after that, they're hosting their Christmas sales. If you need a few parts 3D printed or a few hundred, PCBWay is really worth checking out. I've recently tested their SLS 3D printing with TPU and nylon materials, and I'm really impressed with the results. If you need anything at all for your next project, check out PCBWay, first link in the description. Okay, so it's hard for you guys to tell, but basically there is some weird bumps in this when it moves. Like there's resistance more in some areas than others. I'm not sure why, but I'm gonna have a play around with the eccentric nuts under the bed. So you can sort of see there what I need to be adjusting, and I don't know whether to be loosening it or tightening it, but it's only the ones on the right side. Still feels like there's a bit of resistance. As you can sort of see, this machine has been sitting for so long, there's actually so much dust on it. So I've tried loosening the belt tension and the eccentric nut tension. The back one isn't even making contact, so I don't know. I'm gonna give this another shot. Okay, let's try this again. Move axes, home wall, Z-axis, all good. X-axis, it's homing now, so I'm not going to question it. Okay, I'm going to now try and level the machine. I know it's standard now and has been standard for a long time, but 24 volt heated beds are so good, especially after having to upgrade that machine. It was so slow. Leveling failed, and it doesn't elaborate. Brilliant, that is extremely helpful. I've tried to pinpoint the problem with lots of research, and it could possibly be the inductive probe, but there's not really much I can do otherwise aside from adjusting it up and down. This might not make a difference, but I am going to try and do this again, but with the probe a lot higher than it should be. I'm just going to give it a shot. Just going to push that up a bunch. Yeah, it's clearly higher than the nozzle now. Is that going to make a difference? It'll make my job a whole lot easier if that makes a difference. Leveling failed. Okay, never mind. Using this tool is such a pain, it's so hard to get aligned. The inductive probe has a little LED there that should indicate when it's trying to work. Will it turn on in a sec? Okay, well we gotta test if the probe is actually working. If it's not working, then that's a warranty problem, I think. What I don't get is how the whole thing did work. It has worked and has printed before, so this is so confusing to me. Okay, it's gonna try and home. I'm gonna hit this beforehand, like that. Now it's busted. Okay, it didn't activate. Maybe it's a wiring problem. Hopefully it is. Oh, there's clips holding it in place. Okay, well, screwdriver. There we go. And that is our main board. Whether it's fortunately or unfortunately, there is no problems with the wiring at all. It's actually really well done. The cable management is amazing. I'm going to take off the Y-axis stepper motor so that I can have access to the underside of the bed, see if tensioning stuff will fix the problems. That is so much smoother. Yeah, it feels a bit better. No y-axis skipping on the home. That's good. I still don't think it'll auto home, so we're still gonna have to manually level the bed. But if we can manually level the bed and get something to print, and the y-axis issue is no longer there, I think that's a win. I really think it's a probe issue. I'm pretty sure it doesn't light up. Printing a Benchy now. I don't think it will, but assuming there is no G29 command, which triggers auto bed leveling, we should be okay. Okay, I've attempted to lower the Z offset. It's like -4, -5. Yeah, almost -6. I'm gonna see how this goes. It's not looking too good right now, but that's because I was a bit late. Oh, I figured out the issue. Do you see a spool anywhere? No. And yeah, I switched to red filament because the yellow stuff was extremely brittle. Okay, this is take 2 of the Benchy. Let's see how it goes. I was thinking earlier when it wasn't working, oh, maybe I'm having adhesion issues, but if there's nothing to adhere to, then that explains the problem. I'm going to check back in 5. Okay, so it is printing. However, I do believe the filament has a bit of moisture in it, so I'm going to run it. Oh no, this is the old filament. Never mind. Bit hard to see, but it is printing. It is working. So it's sort of hard to see. Oh, we've encountered a layer shift. That's a bit of a problem. I'm going to cancel the print and try to figure out what went wrong. Yeah, that's pretty bad. I'm going to reslice the same file and try it again. It shouldn't matter if we increase the speed a little bit as well. Okay, the y-axis layer skip should theoretically occur within the next 2 minutes. Keeping an eye on it. Yeah, it's happened again, but what's it? Okay, now it's the x-axis. Ugh. Okay, that feels a lot better. I'm gonna switch spools real quick. Okay, let's start up another print. Okay, first layer going down. That's already looking a lot better after the filament switch. I think the carriage is going up and down a little bit. I think it's getting to the infill part now. I haven't heard any sounds yet from the machine either, which is a good sign. Okay, I legitimately think it's printed more than before. I don't think that's a slight layer skip at the bottom of the print. I think that's just the Z offset not being correct. I can't wait to see Hamish's reaction when he finally gets it back after how many months? Just checking back after 15 minutes. We haven't had any layer shifting yet. Prints are looking pretty decent. Don't like the sound of that. It sounded like a layer shift. Maybe I'll just let it run and it'll be fine. It's on the x-axis now. Yep, time to cancel. I've tightened up the belts a little bit more. It still moves pretty freely. I think I'll adjust the eccentric nut just a little bit. I've also noticed that the 4 segments of the bed aren't perfectly level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to print a leveling test and make sure I get it completely dialed in so that I don't have to change it later on. Doesn't look like it's starting. Okay, so the problem was that the layer height of the leveling test was actually too low. So I've just adjusted it and now it's 1 layer. So that solves that problem. Okay, 3rd time's a charm. Every home sequence that I've done since I've fixed it has been flawless. There we go, now it's printing the little squares. Now we'll get a great indication of what is leveled and what is not. What is your opinion on this type of commentary, guys? Like, do you prefer the more live commentary or do you prefer voiceovers? Just let me know. This is great, we've got a clear indication. So the top left corner is too high, and the bottom right corner is a bit too low. The top right is actually spot on. Okay, well, let's adjust that accordingly. It's super easy, slight turn, that should be fine. I did a minimal adjustment. There we go. Okay, let's reprint that and see how it goes. That left square is looking pretty decent, that's good. Okay, so the bottom right is too close and the top left is too far. Let's adjust that now. That's looking really good so far. Well, it's 20 seconds since that last recording. It just finished. Yeah, it's leveled. It is perfectly leveled. Let's start up that previous print. So I think it's been an hour 20 since I last came here. Part 1 over here has printed fine. So that's an improvement. I'm really pleased to see that. I'm going to try and replace the stepper motor without actually having to take off the gantry. Did the bit seriously fall in the main board? Okay, so it's down here, and I can't get it with tweezers. However, always have one of these magnetic tools. They are an absolute lifesaver for situations like this. See? Look at that, straight away. Sometimes it really pays to have the right tool for the job. Okay, now it's as simple as adding this thing to this motor and putting it back on the machine. It's also a little bit bigger, so hopefully that helps, but I don't know. Okay, so there was going to be a fancy transition, but I didn't take into consideration that because the motor was taller, it wouldn't align with the screws. And since I'm not really going to print a bracket for that, we got to switch back to the previous motor. Auto leveling attempt 1. Leveling failed. I expected that though. I'm not going to say anything positive about this. I'm just gonna leave and wait for an ominous noise and then come back. I've also toned down the accelerations and the overall print speed. I'd much rather have a slow, reliable printer than a fast, unreliable one. And since this is for Hamish, I'd rather have him have a working printer. Not sure how there's under extrusion when we've got a CHT nozzle in there and the printer's going pretty slow, but okay, I'm checking back an hour and a half in. It's still going, so that's a good sign. Okay, a lot's just happened, so I'll fill in the blanks. Basically, I tried to swap the stepper motor on my Ender 3, the Z-axis one, for the one on this machine. Turns out, the Z-axis motor on the back of this machine isn't actually properly in line with the lead screw rod, which is interesting. And I'm thinking that's caused the problem because this part is printing. It's gotten further than before because I have a lot of failed ones in the bin. I tried the usual retensioning stuff and all that, but this has made the biggest difference so far. So as you can see, I've added those little washers down at the bottom where the motor is. And that's made the lead screw a little bit straighter, but as you can see, there is still a bit of an angle to it. But it's fixed the problem. Yeah, I believe that was the update. I'll double check my notes. Yeah, I'll check back when this print is done, and then I think I'll do one more test print, and hopefully we can wrap this up. That's pretty crazy. I feel like maybe we should try it one more time. I did. You can see that boat there. And if I grab it, it has the number 2 on it because it's the second boat that I did. Everything printed. I'm going to get this machine back to Hamish. Thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again soon.